Why are millions of Americans quitting their jobs? I'm Amy Walker. I'm a business coach and consultant, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Great Resignation, why millions of Americans are quitting, because this is hard for us as small business owners. Right now, it is challenging to hire and it's challenging to get people to be on your team. And I think that we can lament and we can look back at all of the things that could have been, should have been done differently, or we can look at what it is right now and figure out what are we going to do about it. So let's check this out.
Americans are reassessing the way they work.
Yes, they
According
are,
to an August
including us as
2021
business
poll,
owners.
more than half of workers surveyed said they plan to look for a new job in the coming
Such
year.
a high amount.
56% of respondents said adjustable working hours and remote work were a priority.
I called this at the beginning of the pandemic that consumer behavior was going to change and employee behavior was going to change. We don't just upend everything and then change our whole lives and then go back to the way it was before. Virtual working for a lot of people showed them that some of the things they were doing were really not a priority and they weren't really a necessity. And now they just want to do it differently.
And while some people have left the workforce entirely, job security and better pay are also top concerns for employees.
It's time to find something that is going to be better for my family, something more stable, something that I can provide where I don't have to go to work and be like, oh, is he going to, am I going to get fired today? Or is he not going to be happy with, the service?
In August 2021, almost 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs.
Yikes.
The resignation
So
rate
high.
hit a 20-year high of 2.9%. Working women have faced an even heavier burden, juggling childcare duties, virtual schooling, and their careers.
Yeah, I understand, you guys, and I have felt this pressure as a business owner too. Last year, actually starting in 2020 and then throughout 2021, we have whole jobs that we've had to take overseas because we simply couldn't find someone in the US to do it. And the reason why I totally believe is because who was historically applying for those jobs were moms who were trying to have a flexible job that they could do during the day until their kids got home from school. Well, when your kids are home during the day and now you're balancing trying to earn money and you're balancing trying to take care of the kids, that's really hard to do. And a lot of women just have realized that they can't do it all right now. Like, we are not super women. We do not look good in spandex unless it's Spanx, and we don't have a cape. We can't do it all. And so I think a lot of the workforce right now is choosing to focus on their family and focus on getting their kids through because they just are exhausted trying to balance it all.
We're all able to take a step back in the last year and spend more time doing other things and really question the value of what we're doing at work. A number of people have made the decision.
Yep.
I need to make a change. I need to simplify.
Dubbed the Great Resignation, the exodus of workers has left millions of jobs unfilled and created hiring challenges for companies.
This is so hard. We're having to pay more than what we can afford to get less help than what we need. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. So I have some suggestions for this. I think that we've got to do business differently if we want to be able to attract, maintain, and grow great talent inside of our organizations. I just think we got to look at it differently. The very first thing that I would look at differently is your culture, your values, and what you're asking for from your team members in exchange for what you're giving to your team members. A paycheck isn't really enough anymore. A lot of people realize that their jobs that they had poured their blood, sweat, tears, and soul into were not there for them when times got tough. They lost their jobs, they had to go on unemployment, and it left this sense of lack of security. And so people are not coming back to work just looking for security. They're coming back to work looking for more than a paycheck. They want to be part of something that's actually good for them. A lot of us have had hits on our emotional and mental health in the last couple of years. A lot of us have lost family members, and we've gone through this big season of reflection on what really matters and what's really important. So if it's just a paycheck and they're just trading hours for dollars, that might not be enough. But if there's a purpose, if there's a cause, if there's a mission, if there's a culture, people that they love being associated with and love that, an office that they love going to every day, that's going to make a huge difference. So you've got to look at how can I make this job be a better job for my team members. The second thing is Evaluating how your distribution of work happens. So I can tell you there are places in the world where people are dying for jobs right now. And I had gone through this same process. I've encouraged my clients to go through this process where you really evaluate all of the work that you have that needs to be done, and you look at how much of it needs to be done in the office and how much of it can be done remotely. Now, here's the part that is going to get some hate responses from employees, but the business owners are going to be applauding. If you have stuff that can be done virtually, I would recommend that you look at sending some of those jobs overseas into countries like the Philippines, where you have a great hiring network, the English language skills are strong, and to be honest, that's where the Fortune 500 companies have been hiring for a long time. So you have some very well-trained employees. So take those jobs that can be done virtually, send them overseas. That allows you to increase your wages so that the jobs that really do need to be done in-house can be done in-house, but you can pay more. And I'm talking like, let's say you've been paying $15 to $18 an hour, and you can take 10 hours of that and you can send that to the Philippines for $5 to $6 an hour. Now you can take some of that savings and you can stack the salary so there is less work hours that they need to be in your office. They have a little bit more flexibility and freedom in terms of time, but also you can pay them more. It's a good way to go, and I think it's the way that we've got to be looking at things right now. I think we have to be looking at culture. I think we have to be looking at the work experience. I think we have to be in this video a little bit later on, they go on to talk about how like 60% of Americans felt like they were on call all the time. We can't do that to our people. Like, they need to be able to check out. They need to be able to go home. They need to be able to be with their families and live healthy, happy lives. And when you do that, I think what you'll find is that we change some of the challenging parts of how our employment culture has been. You know, it used to be back in the olden days, you could get a job and you could keep that job and keep that employee for 30, 35, 40 years. They would stay with you. There was tons of loyalty. We haven't had that kind of loyalty in a long time, and I think it's a great time to come back and rebuild some of it by creating jobs that people love to go to, by creating an environment that is beyond what they could get from someone else. And then the way that we can afford to pay them higher wages is we restructure and we take all of the jobs that don't need to be in-house, we outsource them for a cheaper rate so that the jobs that we have can be better jobs. The other thing that I think is going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people flocking to entrepreneurship. People who they're tired of the rat race. They're tired of working really, really hard and not making enough that it feels worth it. And they're going to be looking at starting their own businesses. And so you might want to as well start looking at your services, and if there's a way to cater to this new and emerging market. And for some of you, the answer is yes, clearly there is. For some of you, maybe not, but it's worth taking a look at. All right, that's my reaction. Millions of Americans are quitting. We can look back and we can say unemployment shouldn't have been so high and for so long, and I would agree with that, but we still are where we are. There's nothing that we can do about it. So we can look at our situation, we can complain, or we can say, all right, I have to evolve. The market is evolving, people are evolving, I need to evolve with it. If I owned a restaurant right now, I would be looking at creating a food truck. You don't need as many employees. You can still serve a lot of people. You don't have to maintain such high expenses for the dining room. Like, I would be shifting. And I think that's what we've got to do, is shift how we look at our businesses. If this is helpful and you want to see more videos like this, check out our Business Coach Reacts playlist. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get notified every time we release new content. Thanks everyone for being here.